They'll send this in on the break and Kochetkov. Oh, they're trading big saves. And Dellandrea again is robbed by Kochetkov.
And that's Dellandrea's third good chance of the period. And this is a very fine, a stellar save no matter what. But considering what Ottinger just did, you all of a sudden have to categorize this save as A+.
Hi, everyone. It's the Canes Corner podcast, and I am Adam Gold. Welcome inside studio back porch after a Hurricanes 4-2 loss in Dallas to the Stars. I know you're not going to believe this, people, but the Hurricanes played significantly better tonight in many ways than they did, well, let's just say against, Colorado on Thursday. They played better offensively tonight than they did against the Devils on Saturday. What they didn't do well tonight is what they did really well in the last two games, which was not give away chances. They did that tonight. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. You should check them out. If you need any of your exteriors home improved, whatever. All right, let's get right to the game. And by the way, thanks to Video Joe for the snazzy opening graphic there. I appreciate that. Appreciate you hanging out as well, no matter where you are. If you are in Australia, if you're in Ireland, if you're in Alaska, wherever you are checking out the Canes Corner podcast. Again, we do this live on YouTube. You could also always find it wherever you get your podcasts. Terrestrial form, just the audio, so you don't have to see me making silly expressions on my face. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button. Thank you very much for doing that. You can certainly comment in the chat, or you can leave a comment for me wherever you like. Sometimes we can respond to them. I don't really see a lot of the comments. By all means, hit me up on Twitter at @agoldfan, or if you want to send me an email, that would be fine too. That's very old school. Or write a letter. I'm not giving you my home address. You can send me an email at agold@999thefan.com. Carolina won the last two games, primarily for a couple of reasons. One, working backwards, they beat the Devils 1-0 in overtime because Pyotr Kochetkov was great. He won the game. The play that ended the game was awesome too, but Kochetkov gave them a chance just to be in overtime when Carolina offensively was nothing. Terrible, I thought. Had the puck some, not enough. Didn't do much with it when they had it. Until Necas and Aho combined on the overtime goal. I think Slavin also had an assist on that. And they win at 1-0, but Kochetkov was the reason. The game before, I thought Colorado was bad. I didn't think Carolina was all that great. I thought Colorado was bad. And Carolina had the one hiccup at the end of the first period. The first goal wasn't a big deal. We don't have to relitigate the whole thing. Kochetkov gives up a bad goal, gets pulled in the second period, comes back in the third period because Raanta goes Raanta. And Kochetkov was great in the third, and I think that led to his being great against New Jersey. But they weren't really great in either of the two wins. What they didn't really do was allow their poor offensive play to manifest in bad defensive play. So they defended in their own end, because the puck was in their own end a ton. They defended in their own end very well. And that's really the opposite of what happened tonight. I thought Carolina was better with the puck tonight. I thought Carolina was, for the most part, pretty dangerous tonight. They probably should have had 3 or 4 goals tonight. There's no explanation why Brett Pesce didn't score. No explanation why Teuvo Teravainen didn't score. And really no explanation why Carolina didn't take advantage of some opportunities by simply putting shots on net. There was a little bit too much passing from Carolina tonight. And sometimes when you're playing a road game, and maybe they should have watched the video of Carolina's second goal that made it 2-1 or 2-2, because it was just the simplest thing. It was just getting the puck in front of the net and almost forcing it in. Now, I guess they took that too literally in the third period. We'll talk about that. But the truth of the matter is that Carolina was just kind of trying to do too much rather than just keep it simple on the road, because Dallas plays a direct game. You don't have to be fancy. As a matter of fact, fancy don't work against Dallas. So Carolina with a little bit too much finesse, not enough, well, let's say too much east-west, not enough north-south against Dallas. They needed to be more direct against them, and it didn't work. And unfortunately, they kind of gave away some really good chances because of it. I thought early in the third period, Sebastian Aho with Andrei Svechnikov kind of skating in front could have shot the puck. Maybe he gets a rebound. Maybe Svech puts in the rebound. But he tried to pass it to Teuvo Teravainen, who was coming down the slot, but the pass was going to hit him in the backhand, and there was no lane for Teuvo. Sebastian passed up a lane. And they had some other opportunities like that earlier in the game. Necas and Drury had a couple of chances. I thought Kokoniemi passed up a shot here and there. I mean, there were just opportunities that Carolina kind of overpassed the puck, which we're kind of used to at this point. The larger point is that I thought Carolina was a better version of Carolina apart from the defensive zone breakdowns, which I know we can't completely overlook, and I'm not. But they were more dangerous offensively tonight, just didn't go their way. Kochetkov did everything he could to keep it to 3. And I know it was to 4, but that was an empty net goal. So the good sign for tonight, and there was a good sign tonight, even in a 0-point effort from the guys on the road, was that for the second straight game, they got, I thought, excellent goaltending. I don't think there's any way to look at what Pyotr Kochetkov did tonight and not say, yeah, he was excellent. For the same price, he wins the game. All 3 goals, and we'll explain the 3 goals in a minute. All 3 goals, not his fault. Not even sure he had a chance to stop any of them. I mean, yeah, Jason Robertson could have hit him with the last one, but the others, he's got no shot on. So I'm just not put out by what, the goals he allowed tonight. I thought he was tremendous. Ty Dellandrea had 4 high danger chances himself, 3 of them in the third period. One of them, I think it was in the second. And Kochetkov stopped them all. I mean, Dellandrea is going to have nightmares from Kochetkov. Now, we still need to keep seeing it, right? We talked about it. We don't need to see what we saw Saturday every night, although tonight was pretty good. I mean, that was an outstanding performance. But what we can't see, and what didn't happen tonight, but, we're not out of the woods yet. We can't see the bad goals. We can't see the soft ones allowed in, because you won't win games in the playoffs. You won't win any games in the playoffs with soft goals. I mean, I say that, and I remember a couple of soft ones last year in the playoffs, but Carolina, in some ways, at times outscored their problems. But you cannot expect that. So the soft goals will get you beat. And I believe that, we're still in judgment mode of number 52. But Saturday night and tonight and the third period Thursday night, pretty good. Pretty good. We'll spend a couple of seconds on Kochetkov in a minute. I want to get to a couple of other things that I really did like, and Will in the chat has a question that I'm going to answer here. I thought it was a really good game from Jack Drury tonight. He wasn't great in the faceoff circle, but I think Drury was really, really good tonight. I think he was the best part of that line. And I thought Bunting and Necas were both good, but I thought Drury really was noticeably good tonight. And I think this is big because I think it came in like the last few games, I didn't think Jack was very good. And in the game against Vancouver, I really thought that Jesper Kochetkov was going to kind of reclaim that spot because Kochetkov, I thought, played outstanding. Again, he was one of my 3 stars against the Canucks. But Rod went back to Drury on that line with Necas and Bunting. And Kochetkov went back down to the 4th line. And he's played less than 10 minutes both times. And he frankly hasn't played great in either game. I don't think he was bad against the Devils, right? I don't think he was bad at all against the Devils. I didn't think he was great tonight. But again, it's hard to judge because he's just not getting a lot of ice time. But let's get to what happened late because Jack Drury scored a goal that as soon as it was challenged, we all knew what was going to happen, right? No, not because that was clearly goaltender interference. No, goaltender, this is like a roulette wheel. We're just in Vegas, right, for the Super Bowl. We spin the roulette wheel. Oh, wait. Jack Drury scored the goal? No goal! Let's spin it again. Michael Bunting scored the goal. Michael Bunting, yeah, it's a goal. It's a good goal. Who knows what goaltender interference is? Look, the truth is that we saw a similar thing happen in the playoffs against Boston a couple of years ago. And it was a goal that ultimately got Carolina beat. And I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was David Pastrnak or it was David Krejci. I don't know. The stick turned the pad and the puck goes in the net, and they said it was a good goal. And, okay, so why isn't that a good goal? And the point is that I'm not telling you it was a bad call because we don't know it was a bad call. What we do know is this. Goaltender interference is like, what is the direction of the wind? We do not know. We know better what is a catch and isn't a catch in the NFL than what goaltender interference is. We have no idea. And there's nobody that can tell you definitively that same exact play tomorrow is a goal. And there will be plays that you don't think are goaltender interference or that are goaltender that aren't. It just is random. We might as well be playing rock, paper, scissors. So I'm going to just fall back on this. If Jack Drury scored it, and if you follow me on Twitter, you saw as soon as they reviewed it, I went, "Oh, Jack Drury scored? Yeah, this goal's not going to count." I think this is the 3rd goal waved off on Drury this year. I mean, that has to be an NHL record. Has to be. Now, the others I remember going, yeah, that looks like it's going to be interference. But this, yeah, completely random, but I can't tell you it was the wrong call because I don't know. Don't know how to say it any differently than that. But just to get back to the more important part is that I thought Drury played a good game. Do I think Carolina needs to upgrade the center position? Yes. As much as I like Jack Drury centering your number 2 scoring line, although the Staal line did have both goals tonight, Drury centering your number 2 scoring line, to me, doesn't say Stanley Cup champions. I mean, is that unfair? I don't think it's unfair. I love Jack. I think Jack's future is pretty bright. I think he is a future third center. It's not a future 2C. He's a future third center on a championship caliber team. So the same problem remains as was there that existed. I have no idea if that was English or not. A few weeks ago. Carolina needs another center. They need somebody else. That doesn't mean they're going to get it, and maybe they'll get a winger, but this is probably all wishful thinking. And I'm still bitter over not getting Elias Lindholm. I'll get to some other comments in the chat. Mixed bag, I thought, for Brady, Skjei, and Brett Pesce today. Pesce's first game back since being ill for 2 games. He missed the games against Colorado and New Jersey, Thursday and Saturday. So he draws back in tonight, and I thought in the first period looked very good. I thought he looked sharp. He looked lively. But it was his turnover that led to the first goal. His turnover in the neutral zone on the left wall coming out. He loses the puck. All 5 Carolina players are in the left half of the ice, and Roope Hintz is on the other side, the left side, going towards Kochetkov, and there's nobody there. It's probably Jordan Staal's responsibility. Maybe Seth Jarvis. They're both in the vicinity. Either way, you can't lose Hintz, no matter, especially since you don't really have possession of the puck. As soon as it becomes questionable, somebody's got to find 24, and nobody did. And in elite play, high IQ play, with Hintz faking a slap shot, and when Kochetkov reacted to that, he just snapped it in between the pads. It's 1-0. Now, Carolina got even right away in the second period. Jordan Staal scored the goal to make it 1-1. But then Carolina got caught again. And I think the Drury line might have been on the ice a little bit too long. I thought it was toward the end of their shift, if not beyond the I guess, expected length of the shift. But Duchesne brings the puck in, holds up at the, kind of circles back and holds up at the blue line. And then, who was it? Lundqvist comes in. The defenseman comes in with speed, takes the puck, whips around behind the back of the goal, and then feeds Mason Marshman just to the left of the slot. And he beats Kochetkov clean, far side, glove side, and it's 2-1. And I think in this play, you've got Pesce, you've got is either Bunting or Necas on that side, and like everybody's just watching the puck and nobody's going to a man. Again, to me, that's a breakdown. That's the second goal. So we've had 2 goals for Dallas, 2 breakdowns. The third goal was also a neutral zone turnover, and Jason Robertson comes in and looks like Sebastian Aho hustled back on the left to get his man. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was it Pavelski on the left? Or actually, no, it was Hintz on the left, and Robertson is coming in on the right, and Pesce just kind of kept retreating. So, that's the situation. Now, Pesce was going back because he thought he needed to take the pass away, but Aho had the pass. So Pesce could have stayed with Robertson. He came in. Robertson just ripped it. Too good a goal scorer to allow that much room. So Carolina just needed to play those situations better, and unfortunately they didn't, and they all ended up goals. And that was the kind of night it was, and that ultimately doomed Carolina, especially when Pesci couldn't get that one shot past Jake Ottinger's glove. He just shot it right into the glove. That's a good save. I'm not even lying. It's a great save. The fact that they hit you in the glove, okay, maybe it's a lucky save, but it's a good save. Kochetkov made one just like that about 45 seconds later on Ty Dellandrea, the third of the amazing saves he made on Dellandrea in the third period. I loved Kochetkov's game tonight. So Skjei and Pesci were each -3 on the night. But again, I say mixed bag because I don't think they were terrible all night. I think they made good plays tonight. They had some scoring opportunities tonight, but they were on the ice for all three of those Dallas goals. Dmitry Orlov and Jalen Chatfield combined for a +3 day. Orlov was +2, Chatfield +1. And here's the weird thing. I liked Chatfield tonight. Didn't really dig Orlov, but I liked Chatfield tonight. And there was one play right before one of the Dellandrea chances where somebody else was coming in. I forget who it was, on a breakaway. And Chatfield was at one point several feet behind the play, and then at another point was in front of the play. His closing speed, his recovery speed is just so great. Man, I hope Carolina can figure out a way to keep him next year. I mean, they can keep him. What Carolina wants and what Chatfield want might be slightly different. I think if Carolina wants to keep him, they are going to have to pay maybe a shade more money than they really want for somebody who is more than likely going to play on the third pair, but he doesn't have to. It really all depends on who they sign. If they sign Pesci or Skjei, maybe, I don't know, who knows? Maybe Pesci bumps up in 2 years when Brent Burns is done. Maybe Pesci bumps up in 2 years and Chatfield's playing on a second pair. Maybe Chatfield bumps up. He's such an elite skater. And I think he's a smart player too. And I think he's got a little bit of offensive upside too. I'd like to see him play more, but I thought he was good tonight. I didn't love Orlov's game, but I didn't hate it. I just didn't think that he did anything spectacular tonight. A couple of things that are, I think, worth worrying about. And part of this is opportunity, right? Jesper Kochetkov, no goals in his last 20, 1 goal in his last 32. 1 in 32? Like, you don't always play 9 minutes a night. He is now, partly because his game was really as my kid says, in the bin for about 3 weeks. It's hard to get out of it when you're only playing 9 minutes a night. But here's the thing. They're playing on a line that should be able to do something. Like, you can't convince me that Jesper Kochetkov, Steph Nason, and Jesper Fast can't produce goals. They can. But Kochetkov has to play better in order for them to do it. And he's going to have to maybe get out of his own head, because I'm sure it's bothering him that he's lost his position in the center ladder, where he was playing with Necas and Bunting, and now he is playing with Nason and Fast. It's a different animal. But again, that line should create some opportunities to score. Like, don't shy away from shooting, which he has done. You got to be able to take advantage of your opportunities. Be selfish every once in a while. It's okay. But no goals in 20, 1 goal in 32. Steph Nason doesn't have a goal in 11. I don't know if those two things are related, but he has played a lot on a fourth line now that Carolina is slowly getting healthier, at least in the forward group. They have everybody back, which is why Brendan Lemieux is upstairs in a press box, and everybody else is on the ice. Let's see if we can get a couple of chances, a couple of questions here. I'll talk about the standings before we go through some of these here. Standings unkind to Carolina tonight. Rangers were idle. Flyers were idle. They both won yesterday. So Carolina blew an opportunity to gain a little ground on Florida, and they gave away one of the games in hand to create more separation on the Flyers. Flyers are only 1 point behind Carolina, and Carolina's got 2 games in hand, but Philly's a headache. Philly just won't go away. They got a nice little team in Philadelphia. They really do. John Tortorella has done a dynamite job with that team. Devils won tonight as well. See who else? Tampa won and Toronto won. Tampa and Toronto doesn't mean as much to Carolina, although it does look like one of them is going to get a wild card spot. So that only leaves one wild card spot for anybody in. And Detroit has played well. Detroit is, at last look, they were trailing by 2 in Edmonton. Let's see if I can get a score on that game. I believe it has gone finale 8-4. How about that? So, Detroit is going to hang in for a while. I don't know if they'll be able to make any moves and strengthen their team before the deadline. But look, Detroit's got a good future. So that last wild card spot's going to come down to, in my opinion, because I think Tampa's pretty much righted the ship. It's going to come down to the Islanders, the Devils, and the Flyers. And I think Detroit will be in it. I ultimately don't think they'll get it. And I've been saying for weeks that I assume Philadelphia is going to drop off. Nope, they ain't. They are. If they're going to drop off, it's going to be sudden, because I think they're good, and I think Tortorella has them playing in a way that has actually made them better. Now that'll be temporary because Tortorella will destroy their brains at some point. But it was just a missed opportunity to gain some ground and create some more separation. Would have been nice to have been able to kind of, I don't mind giving the Devils a point, but the Devils, I think, are a team, if they get goaltending, and to me, they're the favorite to go after a Jacob Markstrom or a John Gibson. If they get goaltending, Devils are really good. Devils are super talented. They have some defensive holes that I don't know if they can overcome. And even if Dougie Hamilton can come back, I don't think they can overcome their defensive holes, because Dougie's not going to help that. And they got plenty of offense. They don't need the truth of the matter is they might not even need Dougie Hamilton. I don't know how easy it would be to trade Dougie Hamilton, especially with his contract. And now he's been hurt, I think, twice in the last couple of years. But their problem is avoiding getting eaten alive defensively, and Dougie is not going to help that. Let's see if we can get one more thing in here before we get out. When am I going to do a podcast on potential trade targets from Shivam? We talk about it. Now, in terms of potential trade targets, there's really nobody out there that lights my boat on fire. That's not really a phrase, but we'll use it for the evening. Who out there is somebody that you go, well, we need to figure out, that's available, that we need to figure out a way to get him. Because remember how the organization works. I could tell you today that, boy, I would really like to see Jake Gensel with the Hurricanes. But I don't believe that Jake Gensel is actually going to be traded by Pittsburgh. So what are we doing? I'd love to see the Hurricanes go get Claude Giroux. I don't think Ottawa's going to trade him. And I also don't think that the Hurricanes as a front office are going to make, make that kind of a deal. Doug's asked for Tyler Johnson. What year is this? What year? What year is Tyler Johnson? Look, Tyler Johnson really isn't an upgrade on Jack Drury. So, yeah, like all the names that people are putting up here in the chat, they're not upgrades. Alexander Wenberg's okay. He's a third center. I mean, is he an upgrade over Jesper Kochetkov? I mean, yes, based on what we're watching, but he shouldn't be. Kochetkov should be better than he is. So, look, if the Hurricanes are going to make a trade, it's going to be something, I think, first, two things that it's going to be. One, I do think that even though Kochetkov's playing well, they probably need to get an insurance policy in net. Two, I think Carolina is probably going to try to improve on the margins. I think they'd like to get a defensive-minded depth defenseman who could play if need be, so they don't put Tony DeAngelo on the ice during a playoff game. But I don't think they're going to make a big deal. I really don't. Certainly not for a rental. So, hey, it'd be great to get a player who you can stick into one of your top two lines. But I don't think they're going to do that. But then again, I could be wrong because I didn't think they would delve into free agency. And they did. So there. All right. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. Samuel says that Adam Henrique is the only real second center out there. He's not a second center. I don't even think he's playing center for Anaheim. So he's a name you recognize. He is not a second center. It just isn't. Adam Henrique would not be an upgrade over Jack Drury. So let's get a grip, people. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy and his crew do a great job. I appreciate your time. We'll do this again late night Friday. Won't be as late as it will be Saturday, but it'll be late night Friday when the Hurricanes take on the Arizona Coyotes. Until we will see you then, have a good night.